What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing well. So for this video, I want to cover the earned income credit for the 2025 tax year. Now, specifically, we're going to be looking at an example where the taxpayers have a qualifying child. And so if you have a qualifying child, one or more, in order to claim the credit, you have to complete the Schedule EIC with your Form 1040. Now, if you don't have any qualifying children, you might still be eligible for the EIC. You don't have to do the Schedule EIC, but you still need to complete the worksheet, which we'll also look at in order to calculate your credit amount. So we've got the EIC here. It is part of a full Form 1040, so we'll look at all the pages and how the credit is calculated on the worksheet. We've also got the Pub 596 here, which covers more information on the earned income credit, who qualifies, what qualifies as a qualifying child. It includes the worksheets on how to calculate it, and it also includes the tables where you look up your income amounts and figure out what amount of credit you're eligible for. And then lastly here, I just have two slides covering some background on the EIC and what are some of the relevant AGI thresholds and what you can claim depending on how many qualifying children you have. So this is a screenshot, an excerpt from the IRS website, which is pretty helpful. It just summarizes at a very high level based on what your filing status is, your income, and how many children you have, what could be your credit amount. So the first thing you need to kind of figure out is what's your filing status. So on this middle column here, right, if you're single, head of household, married filing separate, or qualifying surviving spouse, if that's your filing status, these are the maximum AGI amounts that you can have before the credit is eliminated. And then the same goes for the married filing joint return. So for example, if you're married filing a joint return and you have one qualifying child, the maximum amount of AGI you can have is $57,554 before the credit is eliminated. So in other words, if you make more money than that, you're not going to be eligible for the EIC. Another important detail is the investment income limits. So you can't have more than $11,950 in investment income. So think of things like interest, dividends, capital gains, other types of portfolio income. If your investment income is above these thresholds, then you're not going to be eligible for the EIC, even if your income is below these relevant thresholds. And the reason for that is they're really trying to give this credit to families, to taxpayers that have earned income. So, W-2 wages, for example. And then on the last item here, we can see the max credit amounts. You'll notice here that the amount of credit, the maximum amount, does increase depending on how many qualifying children you have. Now, the 3 or more qualifying children, that's important, right? So you can't claim more than 3. So even if you have 5 qualifying children, the maximum amount of credit you're going to get is basically capped out as if you only had 3 children, all right? Next slide here, some details on the fact pattern, right? So in order to actually accurately complete and compute this credit, you need to reference the tax tables, the credit tables in the Pub 596. Now, if you're using tax prep software, the beauty of that is they will generally automatically look up the credit amount for you. But if you're looking this up manually because you're paper filing the return, or you just want to verify that the information is correct, we'll have a look at those tables in the Pub 596 so you can see that you've got the correct amount. Now, the EIC, the Schedule EIC and EIC worksheet, as I stated earlier, the Schedule EIC needs to be included if you're claiming qualifying children in order to increase the credit amount. If you're filing and you don't have any qualifying children, you can still claim the earned income credit, assuming your income is below those thresholds, but you just have to do the EIC worksheet to compute the credit amount. You don't need the Schedule EIC. All right, so here's our fact pattern. Pretty straightforward. We've got John and Jane Doe. They're married filing a joint return, and they have one child. Let's say the child's 5 years old. Their adjusted gross income for the year is going to be $51,415, and then of that amount, $51,000 is earned income from W-2 wages. Now, the EIC tables, when we have a look at this, what we'll find is based on those income amounts with one qualifying child and the married filing joint return, they're going to get an EIC amount of $979. and that's going to be reported on their 1040. So let's have a look at the Form 1040. We'll go to page 1 first and have a look at the income and other information on the taxpayers. So we can see here we've got a 2025 return. So these are returns filed in 2026. And John and Jane Smith, married filing joint return. And here's their one son, Robert. We've got Robert's social security number listed there, relationship to the taxpayers. He's their son. And in addition to the EIC, they're also claiming the child tax credit, which is fine, right? They're eligible for that, but we're not going to cover that within this video. We're just focusing on the earned income credit. So in the income section here, we can see they've got W-2 wages of $51,000 and a little bit of investment income. So $65 of interest, a little dividend income, $50, and then some capital gains reported on the 8949 and Schedule D of $300. So their total adjusted gross income is $51,415. Now, once their income information is all inputted and settled, and you know what your AGI is, you know what your earned income is, you can complete the Schedule EIC to provide information on the qualifying child. So this is the EIC for 2025, and we can see here in column 1 we have information on their son. So we've got the child's name, Robert Smith, social security number. You need to have a social security number for the child. If you don't have one, you need to apply for one. If you have applied for one and it hasn't been assigned yet, don't file this yet, right? File an extension, wait for that social security number to come in, and then you can submit the return and get the credit amount. If you leave this blank or you put something in there like applied for, then the return is just going to get rejected. Now, they do have a note up here about if you had a child that was born and passed away within the same year, so that might apply to you, but in many cases, fortunately, that's not the case. It's just, you're waiting on a social security number to be assigned by the SSA. Year of birth for the child, so 2022. And again, there's another little note there that says if the child was born after 2006 and the child is younger than you or your spouse, if you're filing a joint return, you can skip lines 4A and 4B and go straight to line 5. Well, that applies to us, right? He was born in 2022, so obviously well after 2006. So we're skipping 4A, 4B, and we're going to line item 5, enter the relationship that the child has to you, the taxpayer. So the taxpayer's son, and then the number of months that the child lived with you in the United States during the tax year. And so we're going to assume that the child lived with the parents for the full 12-month period. All right, so notice there's no financial information on this schedule. It's just information about the qualifying children. All right, so now the meat of the calculation is done on the worksheet. So I'm going to skip through to the worksheet here. So here's the earned income credit worksheet. And this is not a form that's filed with your tax return. It is simply a worksheet that you need to complete in order to calculate the earned income credit, and it is kept for your records only. So the platform we use does add this note up here. Maybe you have the same, right? It says this page is not filed with the return. It is for your records only. All right, so the starting point here, line item 1, we have to enter the amount from your Form 1040, which is line 1Z plus any non-taxable combat pay. So in our case here, it is only our W-2 wages, so $51,000. So if we just have a quick reminder, going back up to this section here, all of your earned income, so your W-2 income, if you're a household employee, if you have other wages on 8919, 1Z is the total of all of these. So in our case, the only earned income they have for the year is that W-2 income of $51,000. So that's our earned income. And so that's why we're not reporting all of the AGI on that line 1. We're only reporting the earned income figure up there. So if I jump back to the worksheet here, we have line 2, enter any amounts from Schedule 1, line 8S, that's Medicare waiver payments that are excluded from income, unless you choose to include it in earned income. So in our case, we don't have any Schedule 1 items, so these don't apply to us. And so for that reason, we're just leaving line item 2 blank. So subtract 0 from line 1, and we're left with $51,000. Now, if you're self-employed or you're a statutory employee, which means you have to do a Schedule C, you can include those amounts because they are earned income. All right. So if you're self-employed, even though your income isn't going to be reported on line 1Z, it's going to be includable for purposes of this calculation. So we're left with the $51,000 figure. And that's the first number we use to calculate the amount of the earned income credit. So you have to calculate this credit effectively twice, and we'll see that when we get through the rest of the worksheet. So line item 6, it asks us to look up the amount on line 5. So look up 51,000 on the EIC tables to find the credit amount. So we'll go back to the Pub 596, and I've highlighted the relevant figures just to make it easier to see on screen. But these are the earned income credit tables. And so it has varying columns. It's many pages long. But the idea here is you are looking for where your income amount falls within these ranges, and then looking up your filing status and the number of qualifying children you have. So in our case here, we're looking up a $51,000 figure. So I've got it highlighted here, right? $51,000 to $51,050. And then as we move left to right, we find that, okay, we have a married filing joint return here. And then the number of qualifying children, what's that figure for us? Is it 0 children, 1, 2, 3? In our case, we have 1. So we have a married filing joint return. We have 1 qualifying child. And so the relevant EIC amount is going to be $1,043. And so that's the first figure that we enter up here on line 6. Now, it does say here, right, enter the credit amount here. If line 6 is going to be 0, then you stop. You can't take the credit. And generally, that's going to happen if your earned income amount is too high, right? So if your income, and based on your filing status and the number of qualifying children you have, if your income is too high, when you look at the table, you'll find that there's a 0 figure. So for example, if they had income of, let's say, $53,600, and they were a single filer with 1 qualifying child, notice the balance there is 0, so they can't claim the EIC. All right, but in our case, we do have a balance there, so we are going to be able to claim a credit. So $1,043 is the credit amount, and then now we do the credit computation again based on our total AGI. So enter the amount of adjusted gross income from Form 1040, line 11. So that's our $51,415. Line 9, item 8 asks, is line 7, so 5114, is line 7 less than $10,620 if you do not have a qualifying child, or $17K if married filing joint, or is it $23,350 if you have at least 1 qualifying child, or the $30K figure for married filing joint? Well, in our case here, this amount is not less than any of those figures. So we enter no, right? This line 7 is not less than those amounts. So now we go back to the tables and we look up the amount on line 7, $51,415, and then enter the balance there. So if I go back to the tables, we have $51,415 of adjusted gross income. So we're within this range here, $51,400 to $51,450. And then we move across left to right again, and we find married filing joint with 1 qualifying child is $979. And so we enter that figure on line 8. So now, here's the final step, right? What's the earned income credit amount? If you checked yes on line 8, enter the amount from line 6. If you check no on line 8, enter the smaller of line 6 or line 8. Well, in our case here, we checked no, so we're entering the smaller of line 6, 1,043, or line 8, 979. The smaller balance here is the 979, all right? So we've got our 979 figure there. We go back to page 2 of the Form 1040, and we can see here in the payments and refundable credit section, we've got our line 27A EIC amount, 27A $979. So this is a refundable credit. It is increasing their tax refund for the year, so they're getting that $979 back. All right, so that's all of it. I hope that was helpful. Quick run through on the EIC. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to leave a comment below. And as always, I appreciate you watching and look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thank you.